Sharp. Welcome back. You're still tuned in to Salami. The time is 8:38, and in a bit we'll be delving into the aftermath of a war that has left Gaza devastated, lives shattered, and the future uncertain. For over 15 months now, the world has witnessed unprecedented destruction, loss, and human suffering in a conflict that has profoundly reshaped the dynamics of the Middle East. While the ink has barely dried on the ceasefire agreement, the scars of war remained etched in the hearts of millions. And joining us to discuss this pivotal moment and its far reaching implications is Abeer Barakat. She's a lecturer at the University College of Applied Sciences in Gaza and a dedicated researcher on the Palestinian Israeli genocide. And together, we're going to be exploring the enduring consequences of this war and the hope, or maybe the lack thereof, for justice and long lasting peace in the region. Abeer, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Salam Media and good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure's all ours. I think it has been a rough couple of months for you, your family, everyone around you, and just the general populace in Palestine, in Gaza. Just a quick reaction after maybe a moment to sober down from yesterday's excitement when that ceasefire agreement was announced. How are you feeling right now? Are you reacting the same way that you did now that we know all the details, or maybe more than we might have known yesterday around this ceasefire agreement and what it entails?
Well, about how I feel, first of all, we are all happy for the signing of the deal. Everybody was waiting with their hands on their hearts and their eyes on the screen just to know whether there will be a real deal or not. But unfortunately, we couldn't be so happy to the extent that you can go into the street and feel that you are safe because the bombardment didn't stop. Even when the declaration was, or the press conference was taking place, the bombardment continued and escalated even more than the first days of the war. And we had a very bloody night tonight. We had more than 20 murders just only in 3 strikes just after the declaration of the deal. So, and the bad news for all the Palestinians in Gaza right now is that the deal will take action on Sunday, 12:15 p.m., which means that the Israeli army has 3 days more to kill. And we even heard in the Israeli news that the Israeli army has been giving the orders to escalate their operations in Gaza within these 3 days. So we are happy, but this kind of happiness is unfortunately filled with sadness because we still know that there will be more people to fall, more people and more houses to be demolished, more families to be displaced and may have no place else to go. So I cannot tell you that we are completely happy until Sunday.
I want to touch a bit on the details of this deal because the more I look at it, the more it looks like for Gaza it's one thing. For Gaza it's a ceasefire. For Gaza it's a moment to kind of recoup and try and rebuild whatever that is left. But for the Israeli side, this is merely an exchange of prisoners. This is merely an exchange of hostages. And for them, the status quo might as well continue. This was not a negotiation in good faith. Do you share the same sentiment?
Well, actually, the Israeli side still feels that they have lost the war, despite the fact that Gaza has been demolished and destroyed in about 60% of it, with the losses of lives, with everything that we have lost. But people here in Gaza, they feel, or let me be more realistic, the majority of them think that Palestinians prevailed and had victory in this war because we know that Muslim always knows that we either have the Shahada or we prevail, or we have this kind, of victory. So for us, we know that our martyrs will go to heaven, inshallah. But for the Israelis, They lost their lives. They lost. They are going to have some of their hostages alive, while the rest of them are dead. They are going to leave the land that they have seized during this whole ground invasion. And the Israeli media keeps talking about how Israel or how Netanyahu has caused this government and the country huge economic losses and huge losses in lives also. They consider that these soldiers who came into Gaza and lost their lives, that's a great loss for them. So let's say that the far left of the government and the fanatic people, the secular colonial people, they consider this war that it was a great loss, and they even call for the continuation of the war. They don't like the fact that Israel is just stopped right now. On the other side, the families of the hostages, they are happy for sealing the deal, although they consider that the Netanyahu could have done this deal even at the beginning of the war, when we had the ceasefire in last November 2023. But he chose to continue this bloodbath so that he could, keep running the government. So for us, we are happy. We know that we have victory. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, our losses is nothing as long as it is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But for them, it's a huge loss.
And one thing which I think will be much appreciated is the fact that there will be some aid corridors that are going to be opened. How much? And I think this might sound like a stupid question, but how much is Gaza in need of humanitarian aid right now, and could it have come at a more desperate time for the people of Gaza and for the people of Palestine in general?
Well, Gaza is in a dire need for aid right now. All the media outlets, especially the Palestinian media, which was trying to show the picture during the war, with all the social media, with the activists, with the freelancers, everybody of them, they tried to show the picture of the destruction of Gaza in the economical, in the educational sector, in the health sector, in the social sector, in all of these sectors. But when the aid starts to come, and when the NGOs and the international organizations will come to Gaza in this corridor, they will be amazed and shocked by the amount of destruction. So you can consider that the whole of Gaza needs to rebuild from scratch, and let me say that. For example, if I talk about the organization that I'm working in, the University College of Life Sciences, we have no place to start education. In fact, we are teaching online right now. And when the war ends, we don't know how are we going to continue, but we will continue with this online education until we have premises to teach our students, especially that we have a practical sites that needs to be, done in labs for the nursing students, for the IT sector, etc. So we need the support of the international community. And from your platform, from Salam Media, I would like to declare or to request for the donations for the educational sector, because believe me, it's very important for the Palestinians not only to have the basic needs, which is food and housing, but also education has always been the one of the primary goals of the Palestinians in Gaza. So please help us continue our educational process, help us continue our life, and it's very important to donate for Gaza right now because we need it badly.
No, definitely. And I'm sure our listeners, who are very, very generous, I can assure you, are listening and will be contacting us, to try and make contact with you and to see, what measures can be taken. But how confident are you, or is there confidence in Gaza that all parties involved will adhere to the terms of the ceasefire, particularly the Israelis? Is there concern, is there an uneasiness and distrust of the fact that they might flaw some of the ceasefire agreements?
Yes, well, this is something that we all know through our experience with the Israeli side over the years. And this is something also we know from the Holy Quran, that the Israelis have, or the Jews don't have any, they do not hold to any agreement. It's very easy for them to break any agreement. With the Palestinian side, we hold on to our words, and I'm sure that Hamas will continue to follow all the articles in this agreement. But for the Israeli side, we don't know. But one thing that we know, or I think that Hamas has taken, which is the word of Donald Trump, that he is going to assure the continuation of the ceasefire, especially that he doesn't want any kind of trouble while he is in office, because he has his own plans in the Middle East that he wants to continue. And one of them is having this kind of normalization with Saudi Arabia and the rest of the Middle Eastern countries. So for them, Israel considers that this is the goal of this war, the end of this war, which is to have this normalization, to have this new Middle Eastern relationship, while for the Palestinian side now we need to rebuild Gaza. So I think that's the kind of assurance that Hamas has taken from the American side.
And just in closing, Abeer, as someone that has been at the eye of the storm for the last 15 months, that has endured and survived this genocide, what message do you have for the world right now as we've opened another chapter in Israel's continued occupation and obliteration of Palestine and its people?
Well, the final message is that humanity always prevails. And we have seen during this war that how at the beginning, during October 7, what happened, the world considered that Israel was the victim, but after that, everybody has seen that the Israeli side is not the victim, it's the Palestinians. I think we had the best time for our cause as the Palestinians to show the world that we were justified, we were under unjust occupation for these long years. I think it is time for the world to open their eyes and to see the truth behind this false Israeli propaganda during the last years, since our Nakba in 1948 until right now. So I hope that the world will stick to their humanity. They will continue to see the reality as it is, and to help us, inshallah, have our full freedom.
And I think we're going to leave it on that note, Sister Abeer, and I will definitely be keeping in touch with you just to get the latest out of Gaza as we open this new chapter in this occupation, essentially. But we're going to leave it now here for now. Jazakallah so much for giving us your time.
Inshallah, you are most welcome. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. That was lecturer at the University College of Applied Sciences in Gaza and a researcher in the Palestinian-Israeli genocide, Abeer Barakat. We're going to take a short break. News and views will be coming back after this.